Hey guys, it's Jay from ASMR for Nerds. Today, first of all, I'd like to apologize for letting some time go by in between videos. Um, Nothing really wrong over on this end other than just some new things going on in my restaurant, and I've had to kind of handle all that. So I've been working like 70-hour weeks for the past couple of weeks, so just haven't gotten the time to get around to make a new video. So, with that said, the past few weeks, I like to track my stats on YouTube just to see what's going on, and I noticed that people are still gravitating towards the Deadpool video I just did, which would make sense being that his movie is out and is doing quite well. So I figured let's revisit Deadpool for right now. So what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is a video on. I'll just be flipping through some of the newer Deadpool issues, not reading them, while I tell you guys the history of Deadpool. Not to sound like a snob, but I guess I do anyway. But there's a lot of fair weather Deadpool fans out there, and those are turning into fair weather comic book fans. And a lot of people think they're Deadpool experts now. So if you hear people talking now, you'll be an expert too. So, but a real one. So let's get it going. I'll just put these aside. We'll start with Deadpool number 1. So, Deadpool was created by artist and writer Rob Liefeld and writer Fabian Nicieza. I think that's how you say it, Nicieza or Nicieza. Deadpool first appeared in the New Mutants number 98 in February 1991. He was introduced as a villain, and he was never really intended to have the role that he does today. He was just like a bad guy, kind of ninja. Not this quick talking kind of anti-hero. New Mutants 98, if you look online now, sells for about $200, maybe $300 in near mint condition. So Deadpool's name is Wade Wilson, which is an inside joke between the creators. It suggests his relation to Slade Wilson, who is also known as DC Comics' Deathstroke. The two do bear an extremely close resemblance. Actually, when pitching the character to Marvel, Rob Liefeld specifically told Marvel he's Spider-Man except with guns and swords. The idea was he's a jackass. That's what Rob Liefeld said. So the name Deadpool refers to a game of prediction, which involves guessing when someone will die. Sometimes it's a bet where money is involved, or whatever else people wager. The creator, Rob Liefeld's parents, used to talk about what they called it the Deadpool. Like when a celebrity would die, they would superstitiously believe 2 more were gonna die in quick succession. In the movie, though, it suggested that the name came from his friend's bar, but the original story was different. The Deadpool was actually a betting pool run between inmates that were being experimented on in the workshop where he was being mutated to be the Deadpool he is today. For those of you not sure, Deadpool is in fact Canadian, which means in comics you'll sometimes hear him reference things using the metric system. And there are even moments where he breaks the fourth wall and, kind of tells people that they're silly for using the imperial system instead of the metric system. Deadpool's witty banter was actually fashioned after Spider-Man, and his regeneration power was after Wolverine, and those happen to be Rob Layfield's two favorite characters. I'm sorry if there are some pauses in between facts. I'm kind of pulling these out of my head. So Deadpool's powers include super agility and a Wolverine-like healing factor. Not only does this prevent him from permanent injury, but it also causes kind of mental instability, as his neurons are also affected by regeneration, so they kind of mutate funny sometimes. At times his mental state is seen as being a negative. They're also like one of his assets. They make him kind of unpredictable and impulsive. Taskmaster, who's a bad guy, has stated that Deadpool is an expert at distracting opponents. Deadpool's body is highly resistant to most drugs and toxins due to his regeneration. He's considered a highly trained assassin and mercenary. He's also considered an expert martial artist, a swordsman and marksman. Originally, Deadpool was depicted as having kind of superhuman strength, but they took that power away. He's just a very skilled fighter. Deadpool has what he calls a magic satchel, which contains all of his unlimited weaponry and ammo. Deadpool he's fluent in German, Spanish, American Sign Language, and I believe Japanese as well as English, of course. Deadpool is actually considered immortal in the comics. Thanos tells him in Thanos vs. Deadpool, "Consider yourself cursed with life." Thought that was a good line. Although Deadpool is often portrayed as kind of a selfish sociopath, in the Uncanny X-Force, I think it was, Wolverine suggested Deadpool is motivated only by money, and Archangel revealed that Deadpool has never cashed any of his checks given to him, being that he's a mercenary, but apparently he just doesn't even bother taking the money. Which suggests there's some virtue in this silly character. Deadpool is unique in that he is aware that he's a comic book character. He often breaks the fourth wall, even at times to his own benefit. Sometimes not. He is referenced in past issues of comics to help him gain knowledge of opponents. Like, he'll think back to an issue where the Hulk was beaten by, like, Wolverine and try and use the same tactics. Deadpool is even aware of his own Wikipedia page and urges fans to keep it updated. He mentioned that in an issue. So, after writing Deadpool's second standalone self-titled story, the writer was quoted as saying, "Frankly, if I'd known Deadpool was such a creep when I agreed to write the miniseries, I would not have done it. Someone who hasn't paid for their crimes presents a problem for me." That was Mark Waid, who, being one of the best writers out there, not necessarily the best fit for Deadpool. Deadpool's supporting characters, most notably Blind Al, like in the movie if you saw it, the blind old lady, and then Weasel. They were established once he got his own ongoing title in 1997. And that title, I believe, was written by Joe Kelly and drawn by Ed McGuinness. Kelly also introduced the fourth wall breaking gimmick. That was also used in the movie, if you saw it. In 2004, I believe, was when Cable and Deadpool was released. That was written by the co-creator of Deadpool, Fabian Nicieza. Many comic fans kind of see this as the height of the Deadpool series, or Deadpool stories, because a lot of his comics are just not that good. Deadpool and Cable was that good. It focused a lot on their kind of unique relationship. Kind of, from what I've heard, it was loosely fashioned off of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito's team up in the movie Twins. I think that was the intention. After that, Deadpool appeared in a few other things. Very recently, he has his Secret Wars tie-in, a 3-issue Spider-Man story arc, and then of course before that, Deadpool, Merc with a Mouth, 2009, had a anniversary special. So this is interesting. The second time Deadpool died, they had 4 versions of him appear. Now, I don't know if that was supposed to be kind of like the death of Superman. Yeah, we're gonna just flip through Secret Wars. Die. So yeah, when he died the second time, the 4 versions that appeared were, one was like super heroic, one a psychopath, one a comedian, and one version was only really capable of saying the phrase, "no pickles." In the issue, he's robbing like, I guess like a McDonald's, and that's all he could say. No pickles. So about 2010 is when Deadpool really took off. I think in April 2010, the Deadpool Corpse was released. And the series featured alternate versions of Deadpool, including Lady Deadpool, Headpool, since then some more have been added, specifically Gwenpool. Deadpool was also featured in Marvel's runs of Max Comics and Marvel Knights. The Deadpool Max stories were a bit more violent and, I don't know, maybe more adult themed. As part of the Marvel Now initiative, which I think started in 2011, a new Deadpool volume was started, written by Brian Posehn from Mr. Show and whatever show he's on, I think Just Shoot Me. So he is one of the writers, along with Gary Duggan, who's actually still writing Deadpool. At this time, Deadpool was also made part of the Thunderbolts team in a small event starting around issue 27. Deadpool was married to the Queen of the Undead. And in this story arc, Deadpool also learns that he has a daughter named Eleanor, which I forgot who, but he was basically seduced by a villain at one point and had a kid with him. In the original Sin Marvel event, it's actually revealed that Deadpool was tricked into killing his parents, although he has no memory of it. That kind of adds this dark undertone to the character. It's not really referenced much outside of there. So around that time, Deadpool is popping up in a lot of crossover titles, including like variant covers and stuff. Some of those titles include Deadpool vs. Carnage, which we read in the last video, Deadpool vs. X Factor, Deadpool vs. Hawkeye, and others. Most recently, Deadpool vs. Spider-Man, which we'll take a look at an issue in this video. Just to flip through, of course. In issue number 250, which really was issue, I think, 44 or 45, but it was numbered as the 250th Deadpool issue. Deadpool is killed when Earth collides with an alternate universe as Earth. That's due to the incursions that happened in the Avengers and New Avengers titles, all leading up to Secret Wars. Deadpool complains, saying Secret Wars should have stayed just an Avengers event, but then dies happily, knowing that everyone else is dying with him. It's the kind of guy he is. 2015, last year, Deadpool vs. Thanos was released. That was one of my favorite Deadpool stories too. Maybe we'll even read that one day because it was so good. In this strange story, Thanos and Deadpool were fighting for the affection of Death herself. Basically, if you know anything about Thanos, or if you watched the Infinity Gauntlet series we did here, Thanos is obsessed and in love with Death. And it turns out that Deadpool kind of has like a little affair with Death. And Thanos is jealous. Currently, Deadpool's story revolves around his newfound fame, kind of now being more rich than Tony Stark even. In 2015, Gwenpool was revealed in an issue of Howard the Duck. She's kind of a mix-up of Deadpool and Gwen Stacy, two of Marvel's kind of hot characters now. Howard the Duck currently goes for about $60, maybe even $100 on eBay, with her on it. Marvel just noticed that the fans loved the idea of Gwenpool and just decided to give her an ongoing title. And that's coming out in the spring this year. Spring, probably April. In 2013, Deadpool is confirmed as being a pansexual, which means he's attracted to all genders, races, or identities. The creator, Fabian Nicieza, stated, Deadpool is whatever sexual inclination his brain tells him he is at that moment, and then that moment passes. He went on to say, not trying to be dismissive, but readers always want to make a character their own, and often that is to the exclusion of what the character might mean to other fans. I've been dogged with the Deadpool sexuality questions for years. It is a bit tiring. He is no sex in all sexes. He is yours and everyone else's. So not dismissive, but rather the epitome of inclusive. That's what he had to say about Deadpool. Deadpool was played by Ryan Reynolds and made his first appearance in X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is kind of what got people talking about a possible Deadpool feature. So they started a script for a Deadpool movie and rumored that it started as early as 2009. A video came out in 2014, I think, that had special effects test footage that was leaked on the internet through social media. And that was like just a motion capture performance with Ryan Reynolds in it. That got a huge reaction on Reddit and just the internet in general. And because of that, Fox announced the film's green light was given. And it was released recently on February 12th. We all know how that went. Deadpool has kind of made a handful of appearances in video games, although not always good ones. He's in, of course, the iPhone app Contest of Champions, but also Lego Marvel Superheroes. He was in Marvel Heroes, which is an MMORPG. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, as well as a game of his own, just called Deadpool. And, so that was the Secret Wars tie-ins, just to flip through. Now I'll just take a look through Deadpool vs. X-Force #1. And actually, Deadpool was debuted as an action figure in 1992 by a company called Toy Biz, and that was in the X-Force line of toys. In 2015, last year, Layfield created an image title that was clearly supposed to be a satire of Deadpool Cable. That book was called Bloodstrike, and it wasn't good at all, but it was also kind of met with really bad reviews, so it didn't really go anywhere. So Rob Layfield is a bit of a polarizing figure in comic books. He's often banned for his artwork, which is kind of not always been very good. There have been a lot of times where the proportions of the characters' bodies were just out of control. So a lot of the times his drawings seemed rushed. So now in the comic book world, he's kind of loved and hated. It really depends on who you ask, but he is kind of Marvel's #1 money guy now, so that's not really fair. So take a closer look here because this is the most recent Deadpool thing out. Spider-Man and Deadpool. And before I do that, I'll just give you guys a couple of things that I recommend to read when it comes to Deadpool. And honestly, there's not that much out there that's really worth it. So here's one. This is the trade paperback of Brian Bosane's run on Deadpool. And I enjoyed this. It wasn't great, but if you're a Deadpool fan, this is a really good one. Kind of violent and silly, I guess. Jeez. Anyway, so this is Deadpool Volume 1, Dead Presidents. Good place to start. Other recommended reading. If you're more into the violent side of Deadpool, there's Deadpool Max. My favorite Deadpool story is Deadpool vs. Carnage, and I actually did a full read through of that in a video. If you're interested, if not, it's out in trade or issues. Another great one was Deadpool vs. Thanos, which came out last year. Up there with Deadpool vs. Carnage is really one of the best. Deadpool Volume 4, which is what the current Deadpool run is. I've been into that. And then Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe was a fun read. And of course, if you fancy yourself a Deadpool fan, you should read New Mutants 98, which was his first appearance. So we'll just take our time a bit flipping through this, and then that'll be it. I kind of enjoy doing this history video, and I think I'm going to do more of other characters, so maybe I'll do a poll. I think YouTube will ask you to do polls now. I'll do a poll of which character we should do next, because it also forces me to kind of recite my knowledge, and it helps me remember things myself. Also, if you guys have any facts you want to throw in the comments, that's great. Maybe we'll do Superman next, Superman and Batman, in anticipation of the Superman vs. Batman movie. We'll definitely do something for that. I'm not sure what yet, though. Part of me thought of doing the Frank Miller Batman, just so that's kind of where they originally fought. So I'll just read through a couple of pages of this. How about that? Give you a taste for what it's like, because people are into this. I didn't think it was super great, but it was still fun. some context, Deadpool is always dying to try to be Spider-Man's best friend. And remember, keep in mind, the creator of Deadpool created him to be like Spider-Man. As you can see, the difference is not too much. So, I'm just saying it was a really convincing levitating kitten. If you saw it, you would have been like, damn, that's the most sincere and lovable floating cat head I've ever had a chat with. And most importantly, I was like 85% sober. Deadpool, yes, Spider-Man. Take all of those words swirling inside the toxic waste vat you call your brain and suffocate them, every last syllable. Kill your words and just shut up. But shut up, shut up, shut up. I get it. You need a little Spidey time. That's cool. But I have to tell you one last thing that is, in my humble opinion, the single most important thing you need to know in the whole universe right at this second. If you don't stop squirming, I'm totally going to unsheath my katana all up against your spider eggs. And by katana, I mean, what is wrong with you? What? I'm a red-blooded Canadian male. It's friction and junk biology and spandex grinding on leather. And just please stop wiggling your webbing. Would you just shut up so I can think? Don't yell at me, that's totally one of my turn-ons. Human insects. The audacity that you would come to the burning plains of Doromu on the eve of my ascension. What did you hope to accomplish when the blood moon rises? I shall. Ooh, a villain monologuing. Excellent stopping power. Better than remembering what it's like to sponge bathe MODOK. Please spill everything about your plans for interdimensional domination right now. Wait, when did you give MODOK a sponge bath? When the Merc biz is slow, you don't judge me. Know that your death shall not be in vain, for I shall not be the playthings of the mindless ones for eons. We just need leverage. Oh, there's gonna be a lever. This is so wrong. I always imagined that when I finally cheated on my wife, it would mean something. I hope that when you reflect on this moment for all eternity, it answers the question of why I don't like you. Hold that insult, I think. Wait, I'm gonna. Hold it until they devour our souls, man. Uh-oh. Sweet mother of leverage, that is the most painful thing. Good God. What was that, your hip? How did you do that? It's easy. Once you get over the fear and the tendons and muscles and physics. Do me a favor, cut us free before I pass out, 'cause then I really will wet myself with pee. So, there's just a taste of the Spider-Man vs. Deadpool. So within the first 3 pages, Deadpool is threatening to get a boner. So if any of you have never read a Deadpool comic, that's about pretty in line with how he talks. You can see he talks in yellow. It's just the thing. And of course, in this issue, they also added a bonus issue of the Vision #1, which, if you watch my videos, you know how I feel about that title. So, that's about it, guys. I know this is one of my shorter videos. that's okay. I wanted it to be somewhat informational. And the next videos we do, I mean, I gotta say though, Deadpool's history is not as deep and diverse as some of the other characters like Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, even the Marvel characters, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, you know, Wolverine, the X-Men in general, Daredevil, all those guys. Deadpool kind of has a shallow history when it's compared to the rest, so in the future, we'll do the history of characters. They will be longer. I do like to keep my videos around an hour long, but you know, this is a little short. All right, guys. So that's it for today. I will be back very soon, posting regularly. It's been about a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks since my last video, which I think is the longest I've gone. So I will not go that long again. As always, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. Suggest. I can't get to all of your suggestions, but I do my best to get to some. And that's it, guys. I'll see you soon.